Hello, welcome back. This is round 11 of the Great American Stampin Show. I'm Jodi Reinert. If you don't know me yet, welcome to my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel. We are so excited to bring you this little friendly competition that we do every other week. Round 11 means that we are in our sixth month of the Great American Stampin Show. And Brandy and Shannon and Julie and I are just having a blast doing this. We each have a very unique style, and I think that just adds to the fun that we can bring you so many different kinds of creative ideas to inspire your creativity. And we're having a lot of fun doing that. This time for round 11, we are focusing on the Joy of Christmas suite from the Stampin' Up mini catalog. And there's two different bundles in this suite. So I'm not sure what my friends are using. I am using Christmas Classics, so this stamp set and coordinating dies. So we'll see. Maybe we'll all choose the same. Maybe we'll do a little of each. We don't tell each other or show each other what we're doing in advance. So it's fun and exciting for us too. So the way this works, if you're new, watch all 4 videos, go back and vote for your favorite, give a thumbs up, and just enjoy. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and read the description. There's a lot of information in there, really helpful links. We do a Tuesday tutorial that you're definitely going to want to be a part of. We just share lots of creative ideas. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy round 11 of the Great American Stampin' Show. All right, let's get started. So out of the Joy of Christmas suite, I chose the Christmas Classics bundle. I love the stamp set because of the fact that it's got the greetings, and there's a variety of greetings and fonts and sizes, but it's also got these like nice images that really let you do some fun things. But what really pushed me over the edge with this bundle is the dies. And I'm going to show you some other card samples, and I think you'll agree with me that these dies are just top notch. So this green layer, the shaded spruce, is one large die, and then it's got this piece that fits right inside, which is perfect for layering a greeting like this. We've also got this die that's a square, but so detailed in here. It cuts all that detail. I used this one. I cut it out of the Joy of Christmas designer paper, which you're seeing on all of these cards that I'm showing. But this is just a gorgeous die here. And then this is a second die that, again, just fits right inside for some perfect layering. And then this one here, I use that same die, more of the designer paper, and you can tell I embossed this designer paper. So after I put the different strips of paper on, I ran it through the embossing folder like that. So these are just a few other samples that I've made with the Joy of Christmas suite, specifically the classic Christmas Classics bundle. So let me show you what I've got for you today for our Great American Stampin' Show. I have so many pieces and things around me. I'm just hoping that I don't forget a single thing. So I am going to start, I think, with this piece of cherry cobbler because I want it to have a little bit of drying time. So this is 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to take my cherry cobbler ink pad, and I want to give a little bit of texture, or at least the look of texture, to this layer. And so what I'm going to do is just drag my ink pad across this layer. And I'm just kind of dragging. It makes a little bit of a mess just because it gets on your scrap paper so much. But do you see the different, I don't know, to me it just looks like texture. It just puts different darker shades. It makes this paper look a little more varied than just a standard piece of cardstock. So you look at it like this, it's just solid looking, but you drag that ink pad across and it just gives it a little bit more. So I'm going to set that aside just to give it My fingers are already a mess. That's not going to be the only messy thing I do. So I'm going to set this aside and pull in a couple of other things. So this is some very vanilla cardstock, and somewhere, yep, right up here, I've got the little holly branch image and some Memento black ink. And what I'm going to do is stamp 3 of these on my vanilla cardstock. And then I'm going to go ahead and color them with my Old Olive Stampin' Blend. So this is our alcohol marker, and specifically I'm using light Old Olive. So each of our Stampin' Blends have a light and a dark shade. And for this project, I'm just using the light. So I just color in the space here. If I wanted certain areas to be a little darker, without using that dark shade of the marker. I did try it and it's just really dark. Let me pull it in just to show you. You know, like I can add some of that dark, but do you see how it's really, really dark and a little bit darker than what I wanted for this project. So what I decided to do was just go over some of the areas again with the light shade, and that kind of gives me a variation in the color, so it's not just a uniform lighter shade. So I'll color all 3 of those, and then there's a die, of course, that coordinates, so I can set that right on top, crank it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and voila, I'm going to get 3 already colored and die cut pieces. Also, I want to take just a scrap of Old Olive and use that same die and run it through my machine 2 times. What I'm going to do when I get those pieces like this is I'm going to crumple it up. I'm just going to kind of bend and twist. I don't want to tear, but just bend and twist that cardstock a little bit, give it a little bit of depth and texture. So I've done that for both of those pieces. Hopefully this mess on the background isn't too distracting. I was just noticing that. These are some pieces I die cut from the Joy of Christmas designer paper, which, by the way, is one of my favorites in the entire mini catalog. So I've got all of these pieces die cut from designer paper. I went ahead and did this circle from the stylish, what is this called? Stylish Shapes dies. So this is again a piece from the Joy of Christmas designer paper, and I went ahead and cut that. And then I've got one more piece that is also from the Joy of Christmas paper like this. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to start building this, putting all these pieces on here to build my project. So I'm going to start, let me pull this toward me here and get my adhesive going. I'm going to start by attaching this strip of designer paper, and I want it a little bit lower than center, right about here. And then I'm going to attach my wood grain circle, and that I'll put right about here. Okay, now there's just a lot of other pieces that are getting attached, and it's going to kind of look a little bit crazy and messy in the background, but that's okay. I'm just going to tack this down a little bit with some adhesive, and this I'm going to put right about here. And then what I'm going to do, instead of trying to get my adhesive behind these little pieces, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the circle here and kind of do it in 2 different directions. And then I can just set this down into it. Much easier than trying to get my adhesive actually on this little piece. Now I could use different types of glue. I just grabbed my Stampin' Seal and that's what I have. So that's the solution I'm using for that. Same thing here. I'm just going to set this right in here. Take one of my crumpled up pieces and put that down there. So it's all sticking to that Stampin' Seal that I just put on the wood grain circle. So like I said, it looks a little bit crazy right now because I'm just kind of piling all this stuff on here. I'll add this up here. I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of a couple of these. So this one I'll raise up. That should work. And then this Old Olive crumpled up. Oops, piece here. I'll add, maybe tuck him in. Maybe just like that. Okay, so like I said, it's a little bit crazy looking, right? Because it's just a mess like that. I'm going to go ahead while I have this and just put some adhesive on the back so that I can attach this to my card base, which is some thick berry vanilla. So far, I mean, I dragged that Cherry Cobbler ink pad across the Cherry Cobbler cardstock, die cut and colored in some pieces, crumpled some pieces, added some designer paper, and then just kind of made a little crazy background there. Now the key is the next step, and that's going to be our true focal point that pulls this all together. So this is another die in the Christmas Classics bundle, and I went ahead and die cut a piece from Very Vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to pull in my Real Red ink and the greeting that says Peace on Earth. And what I'm going to do is ink it up and stamp a little bit higher than center. So instead of putting it right in the center, I'm going to go up just a little bit so that I've got some white space on the bottom. Now, this is a fun trick that I'm super excited to share with you. Take your die again. So I die cut that piece, right? That's pretty obvious. But look what I can do now. Instead of just die cutting it and getting that full image, I'm going to scoot it up a bit. Do you see how I did that? I'm going to scoot it up a little bit and run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now I've got this smaller piece. So again, let's pull that die in so you can see. Do you see the difference? I just cut off the bottom part there. So now I have a piece that's just a little bit smaller than the original, which is super cool because it just increases the versatility of that die. You can make it as long or as short as you want. And you know what else? Let's see. Where is the other one? Right down here. You can do the same thing with this piece. So let me pull in this card. Remember how I showed you this? I die cut it from there. Well, you could do the same thing if you didn't want it that long. You could run it through and then run it through again and trim off that right there. Now, could you use scissors and do it? Sure, but you're not going to get the cool edges like you do on here, how it's cut off at that angle. And so that's just a fun trick in a way that you can use your dies in just a completely different way and get really more use out of the die already. Get a little bit more for your money. Okay, so this piece, I am going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals in this corner and this corner and this corner. I'm not going to put one here because I think it's already going to be raised up from the dimensionals I put under there. So I'm just putting the 3, and then hopefully this will lay kind of flat once I place it on here. So I'm just going to scoot it right here. Put it up just a touch. So now all that chaos that was going on in the background looks great popping out from our piece on Earth. I love the look of this. I don't love that it's slightly crooked, so let me pull that up just a bit. Okay, you probably didn't even notice, but it was bugging me a little bit. So there is that little trick and how you just pull it all together to create that focal point. I love this bundle and how you can use the dies in so many different ways. Now there's just a couple more things I want to show you. So the first special tip that I shared was how you can use this with different sizes. Now I want to show you some things with my Real Red dark shade Stampin' Blend. So I'm going to pull in a little bit of this ribbon. This is black and very vanilla, large check ribbon. It's part of the Joy of Christmas suite. And then I'm going to pull in some basic rhinestones. And what I'm going to do is take the brush end of my Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to color my ribbon. You can flip it over if you want to, make sure all the edges are done. But I can take that vanilla and black and make it red and black. I could do that with any color blend that I have. If I wanted it to be olive and black, I can do that. So if you've got Stampin' Blends, know that you've got some mighty tools in your arsenal, and you can do all sorts of things like color ribbon to make it match your projects. Another thing that you can do is take your Stampin' Blend and color this clear rhinestone and have red rhinestones or old olive red stones or pretty peacock red stones or whatever color you want. So now that clear rhinestone is a red rhinestone. Isn't that cool? Stampin' Blends are an amazing tool. You can color, just the like basic use of the Stampin' Blend, but then you can color your embellishments and ribbons with them too. So I went ahead and I did some of that in advance just to make sure it had time to dry, because I didn't want to make a mess. Like, I think it's a little too late for that, but that was my logic. So I've got this piece here that I colored with the real red, and I'm just going to tie a bow to add to my project. I'll just pull it a little tighter like that, and somewhere, here's some scissors. I'll just trim the ends of the ribbon. And then shoot. What I would do is use my glue dot to attach this to my project over here. Let me see. This might not work well at all. I would never intentionally use this adhesive on the back of ribbon like this, but like I said, I didn't grab my glue dots. So I'm gonna just kind of tuck this a little bit right under there, I think, in the corner. I think that'll work. And then I'll take my rhinestones that I colored and add those to the project as well. One over here and one up here. Okay, so here is my little bit messy but oh so worth it Christmas Classics bundle card for this round of the Great American Stampin' Show. I just really enjoy this card. The difference it makes to drag the ink pad, to change the shape of that die, and then to color your embellishments to be the color that we needed for this project. So that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I earned your vote so that I can win this round of the Great American Stampin' Show. Be sure to watch the other 3 videos. You've got one from Shannon, Brandy, and Julie. Look at the links to their videos right here in the video description. Watch the videos. Vote for your favorite by giving it a thumbs up. And like I said, I hope to earn your vote. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.